What the hell is going on? That was the first thought that flashed through Susan's mind the moment she stepped into the Drew Court president's office. She had just returned from a triumphant business trip to Paris. For more than 2 exhausting months, she had fought tooth and nail to secure the Aton architectural deal, late-night negotiations, relentless pressure, endless revisions. But she did it. She closed the project. With this victory, she truly believed everything was finally falling into place. Her long-awaited promotion to the top position in the company, and even the future she had always imagined with her childhood sweetheart Jacob. Her career, her marriage, her life, it all felt just within reach. But the cheer vanished in an instant at the scene before her. Inside the office room, at the table, Sophia Drew, her elder sister, stood intimately close to Jacob. His hand rested casually on her back, their heads tilted toward each other in a way that looked unmistakably intimate. To anyone else, it could have been mistaken for a tender moment between lovers. But to Susan, he was her boyfriend and childhood sweetheart. It felt like a punch straight to the gut. A cold wave of disbelief washed over her, making her heart clench. Unable to hold herself back any longer, she roared, "Sophia!" Jacob jerked in shock, his hand slipping away from Sophia's slim waist. But it was already too late. Sophia blinked, slightly startled, before turning toward her sister. A small, innocent smile curved on her lips. "Sister, when did you get back? It's been so long. It's nice to see you," she said lightly. The casual tone made Susan's stomach twist. Rage surged through her. She pointed a trembling finger at Jacob. "What's the meaning of this?" she demanded. Sophia tilted her head, feigning confusion. "What's wrong, sister?" "What's wrong? My foot!" Susan snapped. "Jacob is my boyfriend, Sophia. Do you have no shame?" She couldn't believe Sophia's audacity. How the woman could look completely unbothered, as if she'd done nothing wrong. Does she seriously think I'm a fool? Jacob shifted awkwardly, lowering his head, unable to meet Susan's eyes. He knew his mistake, but his hands were tied now. Susan no longer had a chance to inherit the Drew family fortune, and was no longer an heiress. With that truth revealed, he no longer had any intention of marrying Susan. More importantly, his family had already informed him that Sophia was the true heiress. He signed inwardly. At that point, Sophia's expression shifted, as though she were torn and unsure. "Your boyfriend?" she echoed in surprise, then quickly turned to Jacob. "Jacob, what is this? Is what my sister is saying true?" Her voice trembled just enough to sound pitiful. Jacob stayed silent for a long moment, his brows furrowed as if lost in deep confusion. He shook his head slowly, giving no clear answer. Then Sophia turned back to Susan. "Sister, I know you've been jealous of me since we were kids, but this?" she said with a pained shake of her head. "Can't you see? Jacob is clearly confused and doesn't even know what to say." She didn't give Susan a chance to respond before continuing smoothly. "We're getting engaged, sister. How could you say something so ridiculous?" Susan's breath faltered. Her heart twisted painfully as the word echoed in her mind. Engaged. Her eyes snapped to Jacob, wide with disbelief. "Is this true? Are you really going to marry my sister? How could you do this to me?" Confronted so directly, Jacob's guilt surged. A cold sweat gathered on his forehead, betraying the storm inside him. But he did not respond. Susan understood now. Jacob's silence only made it clear that he dumped her. Without a second thought, that too chose her sister. How cruel is it? When she recalled their past promises and all their intimate moments, she almost couldn't believe this was happening. A tear welled up at the corner of her eye. Does she really want to fight her own sister over a man? If she chooses to fight, what price will she have to pay? And after all this, can she truly put her trust in him? Without another word, Susan turned and walked out of the office, each step feeling heavier than the last. Finally, out of the office, she stopped for a moment, turned her head slightly, only to see them hugging each other. Why had Sophia suddenly returned from abroad? And not only that, she had snatched her boyfriend and was now trying to take her career as well? The way Sophia acted in the president's office, as if she owned the place, only made Susan's suspicions grow stronger. She forced herself to stop thinking about it before her thoughts spiraled further. Meanwhile, in the office room, Sophia leaned in toward Jacob, burying her face against his chest as she began to sob softly. "Why does my sister treat me like this?" she cried. "She knows I've always had feelings for you." She paused, lifting her head to look straight into his eyes. "Tell me, Jacob, did you ever love her?" Jacob sighed, wrapping his arms tightly around her. "I treated her like family," he said gently. "She must have misunderstood and thought I loved her. That's my mistake. Don't worry. I'll talk to her." A moment later, he lowered his head, his gaze drifting to her lips. Soon, soft, muffled sounds began to drift out from the office room. At the Drew mansion, Susan went straight to her parents, ready to confront them about Jacob and Sophia. But instead of answers, she was met with a sharp slap and cold, cruel remarks from her mother, Luna. Her father, Noah Drew, wore a cold expression and confirmed the marriage between Sophia and Jacob. Susan was devastated. The sting on her cheek was nothing compared to the pain in her heart. Moreover, her parents were even throwing a welcome party for Sophia on the very same day she returned from her business trip. She knew her parents were biased toward Sophia, especially since Sophia had been living abroad for many years. Unable to take any more, completely shattered, she stumbled upstairs to her room. Stress weighed on her like a boulder. She collapsed onto her bed, sobbing uncontrollably, her tears soaking the pillow as her world fell apart piece by piece. Later that evening, with trembling fingers, Susan picked up her phone and dialed the only person she could still trust. "Helen, can you come to my home? Please." Helen noticed the shift in Susan's voice. Without hesitation, she said, "I'll be there soon." Sometime later, in the grand hall of the Drew mansion, conversation hummed and glasses clinked beneath the glow of golden chandeliers. By the time Helen arrived, Susan was already halfway through a bottle of red wine. Her cheeks were flushed, her eyes glassy. "You made it just in time," Susan said with a shaky laugh. "Come on, let's drink." Helen frowned but took a seat beside her, gently nudging a fresh glass toward her. Together, they slipped into a quiet corner where they could finally speak freely. Susan poured her heart out, her words tumbling over one another in a mix of anger, humiliation, and despair, and Helen listened closely, her expression darkening with every detail. "This is insane," Helen hissed. "Your parents should care about both their daughters equally. And Jacob, how could he do this to you? He's been in love with you since college." Susan let out a bitter laugh, tightening her grip around her glass. "I don't understand it either. Ever since Sophia came back, my whole life has been turned upside down." Helen placed a comforting hand on Susan's shoulder. "Don't worry, babe. We'll figure this out together." Susan gave a weak nod. Just then, Helen's gaze shifted, her eyes narrowing as they landed on a certain someone across the hall. "Hey," she whispered, nudging Susan's arm. "Look over there." Susan followed her line of sight. A man sat alone on a low couch. At first glance, he looked like someone who had stepped straight out of Hollywood. Handsome, poised, effortlessly striking. But beneath that, his presence radiated a cold, unsettling aura. His face darkened the moment his eyes drifted toward the podium. In the dim lighting, neither Susan nor Helen could clearly make out his expression. "Who is that?" Susan asked.
Wait, that's not the end. You've just had a free taste. Listen to Twist of Love and Revenge only on the Pocket FM app now. Link in the description. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.